So when it comes to this Brayton cycle, this is the ideal cycle that is used in gas turbines. So let us see what is this Brayton cycle and what is it about. So this Brayton cycle consists of 4 processes, out of which 2 are isentropic process and 2 are constant pressure process or you can also call them as isobaric process. Now here process 1 to 2 in case of Brayton cycle is isentropic compression. Process 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat addition. Process 3 to 4 isentropic expansion. And process 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. So these are the 4 different processes that we come across here. Now let us see the PV and TS diagrams. So here is the PV diagram and the TS diagram. Now process 1 to 2 is isentropic compression. So isentropic compression, let us draw it like this. Process 1 to 2 is isentropic compression. In the PV diagram it looks like this. In the TS diagram, isentropic compression is represented as a vertical line pointing upwards like this, 1 to 2. 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat addition. So when heat is added at constant pressure, the volume increases as the temperature increases. So process 2 to 3 in the PV diagram looks like this. And in the TS diagram, you'll have constant pressure heat addition like this. Then process 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion. It is represented as a vertical line pointing downwards, and here 3 to 4 isentropic expansion, and it comes like this. Now 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. Constant pressure heat rejection is represented in the TS diagram like this, whereas in the PV diagram you will get a horizontal line like this. Now these two obey PV power gamma equal to constant, as these are isentropic processes. Here we need to come across compression ratio, the first one. Compression ratio is volume at the beginning of compression, which is V1, by volume at the end of compression, that is V2. Now let us go for another ratio called pressure ratio here. So pressure ratio in this particular case is the maximum pressure, that is P2, by the minimum pressure is P1. or you can also write this as P3 by P4, because process 2 to 3 is constant pressure process, and at the same time process 4 to 1 is also constant pressure process. So in this particular case, this pressure ratio plays a very important role. Now let us see heat supply. If we consider heat supplied, so heat supplied is during process 2 to 3. So the formula for heat supplied is mCp T3 minus T2. So this is heat supplied. Then heat rejection also takes place during constant pressure process, that is during process 4 to 1. So here this is mCp T4 minus T1. This is heat rejected. Now let us see the work done. So work done is heat supplied minus heat rejected. So we can write this as mCp T3 minus T2 minus mCp T4 minus T1, or simply we can write this as mCp T3 minus T2 minus T4 plus T1. Now the thermal efficiency is work done by heat supplied, or we can write this as 1 minus heat rejected by heat supplied. So this will be equal to 1 minus mCp T4 minus T1 by mCp T3 minus T2. mCp gets cancelled. So now the thermal efficiency is 1 minus T4 minus T1 by T3 minus T2. So this is the thermal efficiency in terms of temperatures. Now let us get this same thermal efficiency in terms of pressure ratio. Now for that, let us consider process 1 to 2. If we consider process 1 to 2, this is isentropic compression, so it obeys PV power gamma equal to constant. Now from this we can write T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 whole to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So this is the relation between temperature and pressure when we have come across isentropic process. So from this, P2 by P1 is nothing but the pressure ratio, so Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So from this we can write T2 equal to T1 into Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So this is T2 value. Now let us go for process 3 to 4. Process 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion, so this also obeys PV power gamma equal to constant. So from this we can write T3 by T4 is equal to P3 by P4 whole to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So P3 by P4 is nothing but Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. Now from this we can write T3 is equal to T4 into Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So this is the value of T3 here. Now see, P2 by P1 or P3 by P4 both are equal to pressure ratio. That is the reason we have written like this in this particular case. Now therefore the thermal efficiency will be equal to 1 minus, you can write T4 minus T1 by T3 can be written as T4 into Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus T2 is T1 into Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. Now from this we can write 1 minus, if we take in the denominator Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma common, then it will be T4 minus T1, and in the numerator it will be T4 minus T1 only. Now these two will get cancelled, so therefore the thermal efficiency will be 1 minus 1 by Rp to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So this is the thermal efficiency of the Brayton cycle in terms of pressure ratio. Now we can also write this thermal efficiency in terms of compression ratio, and that is, see here, if we take process 1 to 2, process 1 to 2 is PV power gamma equal to constant. So from this we can write P1 V1 power gamma equal to P2 V2 power gamma, and P2 by P1 will be V1 by V2 whole power gamma. So P2 by P1 is nothing but the pressure ratio. So this will be equal to V1 by V2 is compression ratio to the power gamma. So therefore we can write the thermal efficiency as 1 minus 1 by Rp, instead of Rp, Rc to the power gamma whole to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So these two will get cancelled. So therefore finally the thermal efficiency is 1 minus 1 by Rc to the power gamma minus 1. So this formula will be similar to that of Otto cycle efficiency. So we can write like this. So this formula will be similar to that of Otto cycle efficiency. That's why we can consider writing the first point like this. If the compression ratio of Otto and Brayton cycles are same, then their efficiencies are equal. So